This is the Begin Within podcast, where we believe real, lasting health and fitness requires you to start inside before you work out. I'm your host, Nate Slegger, and I'm here to show you behind the scenes of fitness. You already know exercise is good for you, but what about all the other things in life that affect your fitness? If you're looking for extra motivation to get started or to make sure you keep going, this is the place for you.
Produced by BeginWithin.fit.
Improving health is about so much more than just losing weight. But I realize weight loss might be the goal that brought you here to the Begin Within podcast. That's why I wrote my latest book, 5 Ways to Stop Wrecking Weight Loss, to reveal the 5 areas that I see are most overlooked by the people that I work with who want to lose weight. Each one of the chapters in this free ebook describes that specific area that you need to focus on to improve your health and get great permanent results. And it also links back here to episodes of the podcast where we've had experts on the show talking about that specific area. So you can benefit from those previous episodes while you're learning about how to maximize the results that you're after. You can get your free copy of my ebook, 5 Ways to Stop Wrecking Weight Loss, by going to beginwithin.fit/ebook or going to the link in the show notes. Now is a great time to do a little multitasking while you're listening to the start of this episode. Head over to grab your free copy of my book, 5 Ways to Stop Wrecking Weight Loss. If you missed the URL, here it is again, beginwithin.fit/ebook. Or there is a link in the show notes for you. Grab your copy, and now let's get on with today's episode. I'm here to talk today about the calendar. If you haven't looked lately, it is now July at the time of this recording, and we are officially just over halfway through 2023. I know that blows my mind to even think about it, because I remember not too long ago we were just getting this year kicked off and we were talking about all of our great goals and all the great results that we wanted, especially in terms of health and fitness, right? And so many were set in January with these really, really elaborate, really aggressive goals for wanting some really healthy changes in life. And here we are, 6 months through, right? 6 months through the year at the halfway point. And I'm here today to ask you, how is it going? Really, seriously, truly, how has it been going? Now, of course, if you're like most people, the New Year's resolution or the commitments that you made at the beginning of the year, they got quickly cast aside when life happened, right? Life happens. Things don't go the way that we planned. And if we don't have a process, we don't have a system in place, we just default back to being the person that we were before. The same habits, the same routines, the same rituals. It just naturally happens. But perhaps you're someone who's been working very, very hard with a process and a system in place in order to continue to move forward. And this can be an opportunity for you to feel really good, to just stop and celebrate what has been going well. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to dig in on just checking in, just seeing how this first 6 months have been, and using it to inform us, using it to educate us so that we can make better decisions moving forward for the next 6 months or so. Before I dive in any further, before we really start to dig in here, I want to tell you about our Facebook group. There is a link in the show notes waiting for you if you are not already a member of our Facebook group. I would love for you to be there with us. We have workouts every day. We talk about nutrition and just share a lot of cool things that are happening with our company, Begin Within Fitness. But you get a really good taste there for some workouts that you can do at home on your own with just being able to see them every single day. We have a new workout for you, and we also share nutrition tips and advice that can help you to continue to move forward. So if you don't have a process, you don't have a system in place, but you know that you want to exercise regularly at home, and you also know that you want to make some changes when it comes to nutrition, that's the place for you. That is the place to just get some really easy nudges in the right direction, have access to lots of free resources that will help you to continue to move forward. So check it out. Link is in the show notes for you, and we would love to have you in our community there. Join hundreds of people who are working on this process along with you, trying to become better versions of themselves by nutrition and by regular exercise and all the other great things that we talk about here on this show. So get into the Facebook group. Now, let's talk about where we're at in terms of the calendar. And I do, before I go further, I want to just say, like, the calendar is the calendar. It's not really anything special, right? Just like we talk about in January, like, big deal, right? A new calendar year. There's no, power to it unless you put a system and a process in place in order to make a powerful change in your life. And so even now, just because it's the middle of the calendar year, right? It's really nothing special, but it does give us an opportunity to reflect. It gives us a nice place in the year to pause and think about where we're at and where we're going. And so that's what we're going to use it for. Now, of course, you can do this any time you want, and that's great. And we recommend that the people that are part of our Habit Academy program, where they're learning about how to build and create healthy habits, every single week, we recommend that they do this process, that they do some reflection on how things have been going and use that to help them to make better decisions going forward. So, wherever you're at now, I want to encourage you to just slow down a little bit and use this as time to reflect. And perhaps first, just give yourself some compassion. The goal here is not for you to feel like trash and feel like a failure and feel like, 6 months ago I tried this and it didn't work and now I'm worse off than I was before that. No. The goal here is to have you leave feeling encouraged, feeling stronger, feeling some extra emotional oomph. I want to use the word motivation, but I'm trying not to, and maybe that's the best word, but I want you to leave feeling motivated. I want you to leave feeling like you are ready to move forward to a place that you haven't been before, farther forward toward the direction of being a healthier version of yourself. So just give yourself some compassion and realize that life happens. Like I said, we default without the right process in place. We're going to default back to the person that we were before. And on top of that, you may look back over the last 6 months and you may realize that there have been some really serious struggles. There have been some really negative things that have happened, or maybe some positive things, but they ended up taking you in a totally different direction than what you expected. And as a result, it has affected nutrition. It has affected exercise. It has affected your sleep schedule. And all the other things that we talk about here on the show, the kind of the pillars of health, and we're going to talk about those in just a bit. So what I want you to encourage you to do, because what we tend to do, especially because many of us are really focused on trying to be perfect, trying to move toward this ideal, right? Where I always eat like this and I always exercise like this. And it's just this like this real ideal situation that we might be trying to move toward. And so what happens is we hyper focus on the things that we're not doing well, and we use them in order to keep ourselves stuck, right? Perfectionism doesn't really help us to move forward. It helps us to stay stuck. And it can be a noble reason to stay stuck because, oh, I want to be perfect. I'm not going to move forward unless I am. So, what I want to encourage you to do, instead of zooming in on the things that you're not doing well, I want you to zoom out as we take a look at kind of the whole picture. I want you to zoom out as we do this halfway through the year kind of assessment and reflection. Zoom out and look at the big picture. Okay? What I want to know, and what I want to encourage you to want to know, is, are you a healthier version of yourself than you were at the beginning of the calendar year, or this time last year, or 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago? Are you a healthier version of yourself? Not necessarily based on results, because depending on the results we're looking at, right? When we graduated high school, we might have gotten better, quote unquote, results than what we have now if you're someone like me in their 40s. But at that time, we weren't putting any effort, really much effort at all, into being a healthier version of ourselves. So now I want to say, based on my effort, not just results, based on my effort, am I a healthier version of myself than I was 6 months ago? Am I moving in the direction of healthier in the scheme of my whole life, right? As I zoom out and look at everything, am I moving in the direction of healthier? And that's really what I want to encourage you to focus on, not hyper focusing on the tiny little things that maybe drive you kind of crazy, thinking about, oh, how can I not figure this out yet? I'm still doing this thing that I know is not good for me. Just zoom out and look at the big picture. And sometimes in just doing that, it gives us some relief, and it gives us the ability to make some better decisions, to be more resourceful about the future. Now, I want you, from that zoomed out perspective, to stop and acknowledge that there are real areas of your life where you are making healthier decisions. I want you to just, from that zoomed out perspective, I want you to just celebrate, just for a moment, some of the things, some of the victories, or maybe the milestones that have happened for you in a healthy way in the last 6 months. And again, this is a major part of the process that we do with our clients that are part of our Habit Academy. They regularly focus on what's going well. We talk about the positive changes that they have made and what they're experiencing as a result. So I want you to do that. Just think about this last 6 months. And if you can, you have the ability to take some notes right now, to write it down, to journal, to get your app on your phone, your notes app, and just type out some, what have been some of the biggest things that you have been able to accomplish that have improved health for you over the last 6 months. And it's important to do that. And I asked you, what have been some of the biggest things? I didn't say what were the big things, right? Maybe for you, you can't think of anything super huge that you did to move in a healthier direction, but you have something. Take some time to celebrate it. Identify and acknowledge the areas where you have done well. Celebrate the victories. Even if your biggest victories may feel like they're kind of small, that's okay. Just celebrate those positive steps forward that you have taken. And I want to encourage you to continue to do this. We do this again with our clients every single week. We encourage them to focus on victories, to celebrate the wins that they've had over the past week, and to share those. Encourage them to share them in our Facebook group, share them with their coach, share them with their friends. It's okay. Share something that you're proud of having accomplished. It's going to encourage and motivate others. It should be a regular part of your life. Train your brain to get used to recognizing the things you're doing well and to celebrate. This can be a hard process to do. It's difficult for us sometimes to shift out of always being critical of ourselves and into now celebrating some positive steps forward that we've taken. But it is huge. It's so important. And it's one way, honestly, it's one way that coaching can help, because you have somebody asking it and expecting a response from you. You have to come up with a win. If they're asking you, hey, what have your wins been for the last week? What's been going well? Every time I ask a client that, and I ask that question a lot, and if you're one of our clients, you know what's gone well. Tell me about some wins recently. Every time I ask it, you know what? People can come up with them. They can come up with wins. They can come up with victories that they've had recently. So like I said, that's one of the ways that coaching can help, because there's somebody expecting an answer. And when another person asks us a question, our brain just naturally starts thinking about it, starts trying to find answers. So what I'm doing for you right now is I'm asking you to come up with some ways that the last 6 months have gone well. What have been some victories? How have you moved in a healthier direction? Those are very important. Not just to capture them and realize that we have been successful, and make sure that we continue to be, but we prove to ourselves that we can potentially be successful in the future. And having done that, we also shift into a much more resourceful frame of mind when we've gone from celebrating, we've gone from acknowledging some positive things that we've done. Now we can have a more realistic, more resourceful view from which to take a look at what we have done, and more importantly, where we are at now. So what I want to do next is I'm going to walk you through a process that you can use, and we've used it here before on the show, a process that you can use to see where you're at and use it to set some goals moving forward for the next 6 months and beyond. We're going to do some reflection. We're going to do some self-assessment. And I want to encourage you to think about whatever the results that you expect to come from your health and fitness journey in terms of the effort that you are putting into the following 6 areas. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to encourage you, again, if you have a piece of paper, you have a way that you're taking notes, we're going to take a look at 6 areas. And what I want you to do is scale your effort. Scale your effort in each of these 6 areas. Scale your effort on a scale of 1 to 10. How much effort have I been putting forth into this particular area? We're going to go through 6. So you can, number your page 1 through 6. You can just list them as we go. So the very first area that I want you to scale your effort is nutrition. It's nutrition. Again, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much effort have I been putting into nutrition? Into making sure that I am making nutritious decisions. Into making sure that, in particular, the foods that I'm eating are helping me move toward healthier, right? How much effort have I been putting into this area of nutrition? That's number 1. And please give yourself the scores as you go, or the scale, the number on 1 to 10 scale, because it's going to give you, I promise it will give you some insight into how to move forward. So first one is nutrition. Second one is hydration. What can I say about the amount of effort that I've been putting into proper hydration? And if for me, when I say hydration, obviously I'm talking about drinking water. I might be talking about hydrating with healthy electrolytes, healthy sources of electrolytes. And we might be also taking a look at some of the other beverages that we've been consuming that that we know have an impact on our health, whether good or bad. Okay, so what have I been drinking? How have I been hydrating? How much effort have I been putting forth in this area on a scale of 1 to 10, right? 10 being, man, I have been just rocking it. I have moved forward so much in the area of hydration. I never imagined I'd be here as a hydrated individual. Or maybe a 1 is just like, honestly, it's just whatever. I drink some water once in a while, but other than that, it's a lot of other things, and I know they're not helping me, but it's just like whatever. I haven't really been putting effort into it. So 1 to 10, scale your effort in the area of hydration. Here's our third area, sleep. And I say sleep, what I mean is rest and recovery in general. How much effort have I been putting into the area of rest and recovery, of getting good quality sleep? How much effort have I put forth in that area? Making sure I'm getting to bed at a consistent time, getting enough sleep, waking up at a consistent time. How much effort have I been putting? And give yourself a score, 1 to 10, on the effort you've been putting forth in the area of sleep. Number 4 is your relationship with yourself. And what that means for me is stress management, emotional health, maybe journaling, maybe spending some time alone, reflecting, whatever it is that you do. It could be some personal growth activities, those kinds of things. Whatever it is, you have an idea of the things that you do in order to improve your own thoughts and feelings and your relationship with yourself. Give yourself a score. How much effort have you put into that area of life in the last 6 months? 1 to 10. Score your effort. Number 5. This is the area of connection. Connection. So we talked about our relationship with others. Now this is our kind of relationship with other people. Or we talked about our relationship with ourselves. Sorry, I think I said that wrong. And now we're talking about our relationship outside of ourselves with others, nature, other people, friends, family, right? Getting and giving support to others in whatever way. It could be in the area of health and fitness and exercise or whatever. It could be in other ways. Give yourself a score in the area of connection. Connection. How much effort has gone into that area of life in the last 6 months? And then finally, the 6th area is the one that we think of easily, right? When we think about fitness, and that's I just say movement. It could be exercise, it could be working out, it could be lifting weights, it could be taking walks, whatever works for you. But what area, or how would you score that effort in that area of movement, intentional movement, doing things that you enjoy in order to improve health, moving for the sake of health? Give yourself a score. How much effort has gone into that area on a scale of 1 to 10 in the last 6 months? So again, here are the areas: nutrition, hydration, sleep, relationship with yourself, and relationship with others, and then movement. Those 6 areas, analyze each. Give yourself a score in terms of effort. I'm not really interested in results right now. I'm just interested in effort. How much effort have you put into each of those areas in the last 6 months? Now, I want to encourage you to take a good look at the scores that you gave yourself and celebrate the fact that you did the work. Nicely done. Well done. Now, I want you to look at the scores you gave yourself, and I just want you to just notice whatever it is that you want to notice about it, right? Again, we celebrated successes earlier, so perhaps now what we want to get from this is we want to use what's happened in the last 6 months in terms of effort in order to help us to make decisions about the next 6 months of the year. Again, there's no magic to the calendar, right? It's just a nice time of year to pause and take a look as we continue on with the rest of the year. So, what I want to encourage you to do is just get specific as you look at that list of scores that you gave yourself. Get specific on what area you believe focus will help you to move toward better health, right? Which area needs focus so that you can move toward a healthier place? And perhaps you like to look at the area that you've been putting in the least effort. Maybe that's it for you, but maybe not. It doesn't necessarily have to be, right? Maybe if you put a little more effort into an area where you've already been putting effort, it's going to help your health improve that much more than maybe focusing on a different area. I'm going to encourage you to pick one of those 6 areas for it to be your focus for today and moving forward. And the last question that I have as we look at the scores you gave yourself is this: what specifically are you going to do in order to put more effort into that area? What specifically are you going to do in order to put more effort into that area? And you might have all kinds of ideas flooding to mind. Just pick one. Pick the one that you think will help you the most to move toward healthier, right? And now let's talk briefly. We're just going to wrap up, but talk briefly about 3 things that get in the way, 3 obstacles that often slow us down. I'm trying to pick the right word here, use the right language. 3 things that often slow us down when it comes to the effort that we're putting into our health. First of all, time management, right? We say, like, I'd love to improve this area, but I just don't have the time. Have you ever felt that way? Here's how I want you to think about it. And each of these, we're just gonna flip it, right? Very quickly and look at it from a different angle. So if you feel like, I want to improve in this area, I need to put some more effort in, but I don't have the time. Think about it this way: health improvements, if they truly are going to improve our health, the actions we're taking are always an investment of time and energy. Always an investment of time and energy. And what I mean by that is what you put in today, you will get back out and then some. If it's not true, then what's the point, right? So if it's going to improve health, then it is an investment. It's an investment in more energy when we spend energy on it. It's an investment in more time when we spend time on it, because if it makes us better, right, then we're going to be able to be making more time than the time we're spending on the activity. And what I mean by that is this: I might work out for 45 minutes in the morning. I hit the weights, right? I love it. I feel good. But that 45 minutes isn't just wasted, because I know that the rest of the day I'm in a better place in terms of energy, mentally, thinking more clearly. And so I know that the days that I get that workout in, I can accomplish much more than that 45 minutes that I invested, right? For the rest of the day. Like, I can make that time up and then some, because I'm better at the work that I do after that. And if I show up without having done that workout, I for sure am going to spend at least 45 minutes of trying to focus, trying to get the cobwebs cleared out of my brain, etc. Right? That's what I mean by investment. If it's improving health, it is always an investment. So time, I don't have enough time. That excuse goes out the window. Now, here's another one. I lose motivation. Motivation. Here's how we take motivation. We got to take it out of the equation. Here's why I was struggling earlier with using that word motivation is just take it out of the equation by making the thing that we're focusing on very small. Oh, I listened to that podcast and I was all motivated and then I tried it and after a little while I ran out of motivation. Here's just make sure that doesn't happen by making sure the thing that you're focusing on is very, very small and that victory is very, very easy. Okay? Focus on the thing that is very, very small. It makes victory very, very easy. Now, you don't need a lot of motivation to do it. But when you accomplish it, you feel really, really good. And then you feel like doing even more. And then the third thing that slows us down after we start this, and we're like, here's what I'm going to do. Here's my new action step. I'm going to focus on it, is a plateau. A plateau in terms of results, right? We did the thing, and then, the results didn't come the way that we had expected. Here's how we work around that. Just have realistic expectations for what success looks like. It never, if it's real, true success in your life and mine, since we are humans and we change, things change, feelings change, life changes. If it's true success, it never goes in a straight line. Never goes in a straight line. And so focus on actions, focus on effort, just like we've been talking about in this episode, and not on results. Take the actions of the healthier version of yourself. Put the effort forth that the healthier version of yourself is going to be putting forth into their health. And it will always mean that you are becoming healthier. Rather than focus on a number on the scale or some other data, right? Some other metric. Focus on effort. Focus on actions. And you will be a healthier version of yourself, regardless of what that metric says. And eventually the metric is going to change if it's something that, represents good, true health. Or perhaps down the line, that metric won't matter anyway. I hope you enjoyed this conversation. I know I did. It's nice to just pause once in a while and reflect on how things are going in our journey. And this midpoint of the year is a perfect time to do it. So, if you haven't, I want to invite you to sit down. You can rewind back and listen to the little assessment that I encourage you to do. Sit down and reflect on what you need to do moving forward to put more effort into your health. If you enjoyed this conversation, here's 3 other episodes that I would send you back to. Go back to episode number 3, one of my interviews with BJ Sukumaran, how to stay motivated in making big changes. Check that episode out. If you haven't listened to it or you haven't listened to it lately, it is just packed full of awesome tips that will help you to stay motivated and help you to continue to reframe the idea of motivation. You could also go back to episode 10, my interview with Nicholas Heenan, who had a huge weight loss transformation and shares his journey in that interview. And the title of that one was Focus on What You Stand to Gain. But one of the things he talks a lot about in that interview is the necessity of celebrating the milestones. You can see how he did it and how you can do it for yourself in your journey. And then finally, episode number 41 was a solo show like this one that I did. How can I find time to work out? Go check that one out if that little barrier of not having enough time sounded familiar to you, go check that one out, episode 41. I want to thank you so much for being here, for listening all the way to the end of the episode. If you would be so kind as to rate, review, and share the show with someone else, I would be so grateful. I want to thank you so much. I want to encourage you, continue to take good care of yourself. I will talk with you again soon here on the Begin Within Health Show.